Yeah, so that is very much what is meant to be a hard part of the game. Not quite a literal sense, but you know. Around here. That's the way my mind is always going to go. I'm still on the lookout. I can't help myself. But yeah, and clearly meant to draw parallels between Mel, now I remember her name, and Dina. And Ellie thinking about Dina after seeing that Mel was pregnant. Is there gonna just say they can chat about their whole plan there and stuff? While I don't think there's gonna be anything. Sneak through here. I thought I had the when did it rearrange this stuff? I thought I had it set up like this. Look how stacked I am on grounded though. Are you ready for that to not matter in 10 minutes?
It's completely covered in snow.
Nah, by the time we get there, this whole area will be thawed. Where are you going?
Needed some air. What are you guys doing up?
Couldn't sleep.
Come take a look at this. Thought is to head home via Ellensburg.
We're in Fall City by tomorrow. We're doing good. Hey. They got what they deserved.
But she gets to live.
Yeah. Is that okay?
It has to be.
I'm really not looking forward to going through Idaho again.
What you should be worried about is what Maria's gonna do to you when we get home.
We've been through worse. However, as I was passing through some ritzy section of town, I come across this necklace. It sparkles a lot. I think it's real gold.
You think it's real gold?
It's real gold.
Let's see it.
I know what gold looks like.
If it's legit, can we say it's from all of us?
Ha! You find your own damn bribes.
How you doing?
Fine.
Ellie?
Fine. Thanks for coming back for me.
My friend's problems are my problems.
You're such a sap.
All right, how about, my friends can't get out of their own damn way?
It's better. Shit!
Jesse, stand up! Hands in the air, I shoot this one too.
Don't you do it, Ellie. Get out of here.
Stand up! Now!
Don't you fucking dare!
Shut the fuck up! Fuck. All right. Stop! Stop! Toss your weapon. Toss your weapon! Fuck.
No.
I know why you killed Joel. He did what he did to save me. There is no cure because of me. I am the one that you want. Just let him go. You killed my friends. We let you both live. And you wasted it. Dad?
And 4 years earlier, now it's Abby flashback time. So, answering that question about how Ellie got a tattoo in the post-apocalypse, I guess just a tattoo artist survived and stuff. Ready for one of the biggest issues with the story of this game? Like, even if you think that this game is like the greatest masterpiece ever, gotta acknowledge that this is just an issue storytelling-wise. Are you now ready to play almost the entire rest of the game as Abby from here? We are going to get flashback here and then do Seattle day 1 to 3 all over again, but from Abby's perspective, which isn't actually connected to Ellie's perspective at all until that final moment. So,
Dad, come on.
it would be kind of cool if their stories were a little bit
Can't
more
keep doing
interconnected,
this.
and you see like both perspectives as they meet and clash a couple times or something like that. But no, there's not even anything like that. So in typical storytelling, you have, you know, like the onset of adventure, the inciting event, whatever the heck the thing is called, and then you have rising action going up, then you have the climax, and then like the main conflict is done, you have the falling action, and then the conclusion. That's the way that it goes with storytelling. That's just a standard way to handle it. Whereas this game does, like, the onset of adventure, killing Joel, Ellie heads out. Rising action, you get to, like, the climax. These two have finally met. They're having their big confrontation. Abby's the one in control with the gun and stuff like that. And then, forget all that. We're going right back to the beginning. All that tension and buildup, just gone. Just forget about it. We are going to go do that much of game content again as Abby. Again, with a story that's not actually connected to Ellie in a literal sense. You can argue it's connected to Ellie's in a very symbolic sense, but not connected to Ellie's in a literal sense for the 3 days in Seattle. And we don't actually get to find out what happens in that climax until we reach the same part in Abby's story, like 20 hours of gameplay later again. So, you know, I've heard that with The Last of Us show from here, that part 2 is going to be 2 seasons. So, season 2, I presume, is going to be Ellie's perspective, and then season 3, I guess, is going to be Abby's stuff. So, oh, I don't have a flashlight here. So, I have no doubt that season 2 of The Last of Us HBO show is going to end on that cliffhanger, and that people are going to be pissed as hell. Because I know I was pissed as hell as a gamer. When it's like, hey, we have all this rising action, we finally reached the climax. Nah, you don't get to see what happens. You don't get to see what happens until like 20 hours later. Sucks to suck. But yeah. Yeah, or something like that, where it's like, you can watch the scene play out. Like, maybe it's one of those games where it's like you have like 2 save files that you can select on the main menu. Because, I mean, it operates basically like a 2 save file kind of thing gameplay-wise. So when I was just saying that that my amazing amount of loot that I had on Grounded wasn't gonna matter soon, this is why. We start at ground zero again as Abby. She has her own upgrade tree and unique stuff, which is like, hey, it's kind of cool.
Look at that.
But it feels kind of shit when it's like, I gathered all this stuff as Ellie. I was in such a good position. I had so many bullets. I was doing great for grounded mode.
Through here.
Start again. Hard reset. So, yeah, it's a bit of a shitty feeling gameplay-wise and storytelling-wise. Maybe on New Game Plus, pick Abby to see the other side of the story. Maybe. Maybe something like that. Where, that would be kind of interesting, where it's like you do like a full playthrough of Ellie's stuff. Because, this probably isn't too spoilery to say, but I said that my stuff with Ellie wasn't going to be mattering again for some time. You do get to play as her again, very briefly, for like a final thing, like right at the end of the game. So,
You got a
I'll
little
talk
mud
again
on
in a
there,
sec here.
sweetheart.
So do you.
Where?
Right there.
You know, every time you run off like this, they give me shit about it.
Come on.
Believe it or not, they actually care about your safety.
These woods are safe.
Dad.
Abs. She's been hanging out right on the other side of those trees.
And?
She's due any day now. We'll just check on her, and then we'll head back. I promise.
Let's just make it quick.
See? I've got my little girl to keep me safe.
So there's her dad, Mr. Doctor that Joel killed.
Oh, and Rat-
Spoilers, I guess, for the game, but I already mentioned that when I was talking about the show, so, like, whatever.
I just want to see
Souls. But yeah,
Get him to talk.
it certainly feel a lot nicer if Ellie's actions bled over into Abby's story. Like, as you mentioned, Abby isn't even aware Ellie's in Seattle for most of it. Yeah, it feels very much as you're doing Abby's story in, like, your desperate push to find out what the hell happened on that cliffhanger. You don't even have something that complements that story in a literal sense. Again, I feel like it does complement it in, like, a symbolic sense and drawing parallels between, like, Ellie and Joel and showing that, like, these characters are more similar than they're different and all that stuff. But in terms of, like, literal stuff that's occurring, there's not really much
Don't have that one in my
carryover.
collection.
You can keep it. If you promise not to pull anything like this again.
You got yourself a deal.
Why don't I believe you?
No reason I could think of. Come on, let's keep looking.
Those sort of
Dad.
spoilers, but Abby ends up going on a completely different adventure in Seattle.
Wait, what?
And then during the later parts of Seattle Day 3, it's like,
Just
oh shit, Ellie's here. She's murdered all my friends. Time to go confront her at the theater.
We work together.
Because Ellie, like, dropped the map in the aquarium.
Babs,
So
it's fine.
Abby gets to go, like, right to their location.
Oh, God.
And that's
How long have you known?
literally just how it
I
goes.
see things. Like the way you both try really, really hard not to look at each other when you're around me. You get all serious. It's very cute.
I can't handle this.
And he makes you laugh.
Yeah, I feel like it would have been a lot better
Because I'm
if
such an idiot.
there was more parallels
I just
between the
like how he's
story,
extra
for
nice to
one.
me now.
So
Or maybe you do
you're
just
taking
play, like,
advantage of him.
them as separate little mini kind of
Babs,
games. Like a Sonic
Fresh
Adventure
tracks.
kind of thing, where it's like, choose who you're playing as. I think that's the
See if we
Sonic
can find
Adventure
anything
games,
else.
right?
Wait,
Where it's like, play Sonic
it's
Story,
just
play
sneaky
Shadow
like giving me a
Story.
tracking lesson, isn't it?
If you had something like that for
would
Ellie
never.
and Abby's story. It's wild, too, because this whole
Is it
flashback
working?
is all about Abby gets a
Well, I mean,
tracking lesson, and Ellie
found
just
you.
leaves a map for Abby, invalidating half the point in this flashback. Yeah, so I mean, if you're
Do what
showing
you
that
need
this
to
is
do
like
to
a
get
skill
it
set that Abby has, tracking, but never actually has to use in like that instance, that is a good point there. That is kind of funny. It'll be interesting to see how they handle it in the show, because like I've said, from the 2 episodes that are out so far, it does seem like they are doing like a lot of housekeeping cleanup with the story in the show so far. I feel like the story of the show is a
Not yet.
lot better than the game so far.
Keep looking.
Like, they looked at the story of the game and they were like, okay, this has some major flaws, let's do a little bit of cleanup and actually properly tell the story that we were trying to tell in a better way. That's kind of what the show feels like so far. So if it continues on with that trend, that would be nice. I'm enjoying season 2 of the show so far. What am I doing? I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't really paying attention, I was rambling. Huh. But yeah, I think if there was a crossover between like the 2 stories a little bit better, and maybe if it was like a separate save file kind of thing, because I think that you can experience, like, just thinking about like the events of this game, I'm sure you could experience solely Ellie's story without knowing Abby's stuff, and still have it be like a meaningful story at the end of pursuing revenge and this thing Bob here looks like a clue. Pursuing revenge
Dad,
and
I found
eventually needing to break
something.
the cycle and all that stuff that tell in revenge stories.
Ew.
And look, 2 sets of tracks.
That's probably not too spoilery to say,
Dad,
because that's just kind of how revenge stories go.
that doesn't sound good.
You can absolutely do that with Ellie's story alone, without knowing, like, the intricacies of Abby's story. Like, it's pretty evident at this point in the game that she's ex-Firefly, she had connections to the Fireflies, and all that. And
Wait,
knowing why she killed
infected
Joel. Like, you know that at this point in the game.
You know they roam.
As long as you didn't go through, like, turning your brain off, I guess. Oh, I can't check my ammo or anything here. So I feel like Ellie's story, start to finish, would work just fine on its own. And then maybe after you beat that, it's like, now you can play as Abby's story. And then it's like, okay, well now I'm kind of intrigued to see what was going on here. Now there's a little bit of intrigue. As opposed to as a player in this situation where it's like, this isn't what I want to see. Get me back to the theater to see what happens. And you're left waiting for that for the next 20 hours.
It's okay, calm down. Don't worry.
And,
I'm not gonna hurt you.
you know, when that's the thing that keeps you playing because you're keeping like this carrot dangling in front of the player on a fishing rod, where it's like they want to keep on going because they just want to see that. It's not as
I'm gonna hold her.
compelling, I feel like. Because it makes you feel like you want to get through this as fast as possible to get to the thing that you actually want to see.
What? Hey, get over here and help me hold her. We need you back up. Owen! Hold her. Come on. Yeah. All right. You got her tight? Yeah. All right. Get in there, Abs. Steady.
And the story clearly tries to draw a lot of parallels between Ellie and Abby, where here near the hospital, Ellie and Joel have a scene with the giraffes, whereas
Everybody's looking for you. We gotta.
Abby and her dad's
wait,
equivalent
Dad!
scene is with a zebra.
What's going on?
Come on.
Spoilers, Owen dies, as we saw. Well, basically the same shot that we had with Ellie and Joel. We have a
Get back there.
heartfelt moment with zebras as opposed to giraffes.
That girl showed up. What girl? The one Marlene keeps talking about. They found her in the tunnels. She has an old bite mark on her arm. No signs of infection. That can't be. They're already running tests on her, but you gotta get down there. Come on. It's intertwined with the brain. There's no other option.
There has to be some other way.
There's no way to remove the specimen without destroying the host.
The host. She's a child, not some petri dish.
You think I don't... I'm aware of the situation.
And you're okay with killing her.
No, I'm okay with developing a vaccine that'll help save millions of lives. How many fireflies have died for less?
That was their choice. Are you asking me? Or are you telling me this is how it's gonna be?
I am begging you to buy in.
And what if this was Abby?
Look, everything that we've been fighting for, all the sacrifices, all of the horrific... all of that is justified with this one act.
If this was your daughter, what would you do?
Abby,
I'll buy you some dinner.
thank you, sweetheart. Look, Marlene.
Do it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go tell Joel.
Why?
He traveled across the country with her. He has a right to know. Good luck with your surgery.
You're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
If it was me, I'd want you to do the surgery.
So this is the scene that was in episode 2 of season 2, like towards the beginning, because Abby's dreaming about this while she's in the lodge. So the show just, like, immediately goes and is like, yep, this is what's going on, this is our motivation. Whereas in the game, it's like, yep, get to the halfway point, and then we'll tell you at a time that you're not all that interested in hearing it because you want to know what's going on in that climax instead.
No.
So because you're focused on what was going on there, I feel like it kind of takes away a bit of the impact here, because you as a player are left wanting to know what the heck happened with the other thing that it just left you on a cliffhanger about. It prevents you from being able to give your full attention here, in my opinion, but...
Joel, get up.
And it's like the big reveal.
Get up.
Oh, damn! He was
Please stop.
that doctor that I killed.
Please don't shoot. Joel,
Yeah, already
please
figured it
get
had to be
up.
something like that. And so the game wants you to feel sympathetic toward Abby here. But as a player, realistically, you'd still be focused on that cliffhanger of like, I want to know what the hell happens. I followed Ellie this far, I want to see how it plays out. And you're denied that until you go through
Cleaning up.
all of
We're
this.
here for him. That's it.
It's too risky to leave them alive.
Too fucking bad.
He's right. We can't have loose ends.
We killed them. We're no better than he was. They didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, look at my face.
Fuck your face. You should have been guarding the upstairs like I told you to. Move. Back up.
Calm down.
Or what? Back the fuck up.
Calm down!
Garden! You shoot me?
Stop.
We're done.